Mute. Hi everyone. I'm so very excited to get connected with all the parents who are on this journey uh, called autism spectrum disorder. And I myself am a mother to a 16-year-old boy, and that's how I got sucked into autism spectrum disorder and all the things that I'm doing right now. And without any further ado, let's just get into the presentation that I've prepared for all my fellow parents. Uh, yeah. So today I want to share with you my journey on this very difficult journey, which is parenting itself to regular children itself is a big challenge because no two children are alike. No two children born to the same mother are alike, and hence no two children on the spectrum can be alike, right? So every individual is born with uniqueness, right? And so this journey, when I started with my son, he was pretty young. He was just 14 months old when the doctor had mentioned that he might be showing some difficulties in communication, or he might be having developmental delay. And I just did not understand anything about delays and autism. Nothing, nothing came to my mind, and I just thought it's just a delay, and we'll be able to overcome it somehow. I mean, I thought the child would just be able to overcome, and that point in time, I was not aware that how serious the situation was, and how and the kind of challenges that were waiting for my son to overcome. So that was how we got into this autism journey. What I do is, yes, we started healing our children, our child, me and my husband together. We started finding solution, and I wanted to heal my son in a way because I knew that he was going through a lot of physical challenges as well, and hence the path to healing that I have carved out, and hence I thought I want to help other parents create a real change through diet detox, smart parenting strategies. Nobody is born parent, and nobody is very thorough being a perfect parent. So there is no perfection when it comes to parenting, but to what extent we can bring a change to our child, those strategies which are scientifically proven, and when we start adopting them, and we start seeing incredible transformation in our children. So that's why I'm here today, to give a lot of hope, and hope to the parents to see that transformation which I was able to see in my own son, right? So again, I want to welcome you all, and I'm very excited that a lot of parents are connecting, and they do want to understand, how to begin this journey, where to begin the journey, right? So what I'm going to share today is my story, because I'm going to bring in my son everywhere, because that was a big challenge in front of me that made me, you know, run around, learn, empower myself so that I can make his life thriving, right? So the key strategies again, what helped my son, and what I started doing now to help parents, that also I'll let you know, but at the end, right? So my son's diagnosis came early on, as I mentioned earlier, 14 months. And by 19 months, we had a formal diagnosis of autism spectrum disorder. Unfortunately, the I met with a doctor who mentioned that maybe I was not doing a proper parenting. And also, she mentioned that maybe my child would never end up in a mainstream school because she's not seen many children end up in a mainstream school. And she just, no, she just nodded her head in a no. And I don't know, there's something that told me that I don't want to accept this no, right? And I became that that day I took a challenge on myself that I will turn around this situation, right? So let me tell you about what were the challenges my son, my dear son Ranak, his name is Ranak, and he was facing at that time. We were already not able to sleep through the night, and this sleep issues was from the day he was born. It was not that it came at 18 months, 19 months, 14 months. No, it just started from the day he was born. He was crying through the night, and there was hardly any sleep coming. And feeding challenges to begin with. He was not able to latch to for mother's milk, and he was not able to. We were bottle feeding because I had read so good things about the, mom's milk. I really wanted him to, latch on to me and, have the golden. They say each drop is golden, right? So, so from there on, from the day one, we had sleeping issues, we had feeding issues. Then when he started growing up and he started having, he got his teeth coming out, he was not able to chew his food. So those were the challenges. Even he was not able to chew his food. He was not able to suck milk from from his mom. So all those issues. Then later on, when we came at 17, 18 months, we had speech delay, we had language delay. There was no eye contact, there was no joint attention. So now these are the challenges we started off. And like many parents, I was lost, scared, and overwhelmed. But there was one thing about, I'll say about myself. I didn't want to waste time being depressed and, sit in a corner and cry because I knew that crying is not going to lead me to anywhere. And it was not the time to sit in a corner and sulk. It was time for me to take action to understand what exactly are the challenges my child is going to face in future so that we are prepared for those challenges. So that was something that made me run from pillar to post. And this I'm talking about 15 years back. So 15 years back we didn't have smartphones, we didn't have so much of internet and laptops at home, but I just started managing everything and started researching. And so we started with occupational therapy. That was the place to go, the first thing to go, because uh, I didn't even know that the children are, they faced with autism is not only speech and language, it is about sensory overload, it's about their motor skill delay, and he was having motor delay, but it was a very slight delay. His milestones were delayed, but not to the extent that there was a physical issue with it. But uh, his walk came late, his getting up from the floor was delayed, and he was not rolling. So all these were anyways red flags, and hence we were lucky in a way that we came to know that there were issues with our baby, and we need to do something, and we need to take action quickly. And hence, by 20 months, when he was 20 months, we started off with occupational therapy, and I started reading about behavior therapies and special education, and but all these things were not giving much peace to his life and my life too, because he was not sleeping through the night. And he used to have regular episodes of diarrhea. He used to fall sick very easily. And, the feeding was anyways a challenge. And So I was like, there is something deeper, like these therapies are not making him sleep. And though occupational therapy said that therapist had told me that, every time he rolls around or, there is a little sound, it's a sensory overload even while he's sleeping. So, so with the therapy, he'll be able to sleep, but a lot of improvement was coming. Like he had missed crawling. Crawling came, getting up from the floor came. It started coming early because we started working, but the sleep issues and the feeding issue was still a challenge. And for a mother to an infant, um, these two things are the most important thing for a child, because all the child does is sleep and eat. And if that is itself an issue, so there is something deeper lying there. So that's when I started, researching and found out that there is a very, very deep connection which we are missing out on. And that can be the gut-brain connection. And so a lot of research has gone into to find out that, the gut and brain connection is actually called the gut-brain axis. And, the origin of most of the ailments that we all face actually begins in our gut, because most of our immune system resides there, right? So once you start finding out that, okay, anyways, I had to look for that kind of treatment for my child, because he's having regular episodes of vomitings, and early on he was not accepting gluten. That was something which was like, the moment I give him a little bit of gluten in form of a biscuit, or a or a Cerelac which has wheat based you know baby foods, he would just vomit on the second bite itself. So he would never take it. So early on, even before his diagnosis, I knew that he's not able to take gluten. I didn't know it was a gluten, right? So at that time, I just understood that he's not able to take wheat, but he's able to digest rice-based food. Those meals were rice-based. So that's why my, whole attention started going towards the gut. And because I wanted to heal him from inside, because therapies are not going to look at his stomach cramps, therapies are not looking at his diarrhea or constipation, or frequent falling sick, right? So though we enroll for therapies, but what is happening? We enroll for therapies and our child is half of the month unwell. Now tell me how those therapies are going to bring a change when the child is not physically fit to get the therapies, right? So that's when, I my attention started getting into the, detox and the power of food. Because anyways, early on, he's showing signs that he cannot accept wheat. So I need to look deeper. So that's when, I started reading about the gut-brain connection. Now, what is gut? Gut is our digestive system. It starts with the stomach, the small intestines, and the large intestines. Now, medically, it's the long intestine, but which means the gut, right? But here in this context, we will take the whole digestive system as our gut. Now, the gut is called a second brain. Why is it called a second brain? The brain and the spinal cord, the brainstem, is having its own nervous system, which is called the central nervous system, while the gut itself has another nervous system. It's called the enteric nervous system. And these two nervous systems are connected via the longest nerve, which is called the vagus nerve. Now, anything that happens to brain directly affects the gut, and anything that happens to the gut directly affects the brain. So all the mental health conditions, today I'm talking about autism, ADHD, autism, uh, depression, schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, all are connected to our gut. So if we want, to, we are not going to fix it. I don't want to use the word fix, but I wanted to improve his gut health. I wanted to improve his digestion so that he's, able to assimilate the nutrients which I am trying to give him. So that was my whole concern at that point in time. So if you start, rebuilding the gut, the connections in the brain and all the connections which were lost somewhere and were not formed, were not getting developed properly, starts getting developed. They start getting develop with the improvement of the gut health, right? So the vagus nerve is a two-way communication. As I said, the moment we are feeling nervous, you would have felt. The moment we start feeling nervous, right, we get some cramps or some butterfly feeling in our gut. And many times you would have heard people say, I have a gut feel. Now, this gut feel can be even stronger than what our brain is thinking logically. So that is the strength of the gut feel, isn't it? We call it an instinct. So that's what. So that's where we need to bring our attention now when we are trying to deal with, with symptoms of autism spectrum disorder. So where to look at? We start looking at the gut, and that's where my attention started going. And I started deep diving into, into getting the gut in the proper way. Now, what happens to our gut here? In our children, what happens when the child is born? He gets most of his life good bacteria to his mother, right? And many times, in the case when it's a normal birth, the child gets an opportunity to get all the gut microflora through his mom. But in my case, it was a cesarean. So, anyways, that process didn't happen for him, right? So what I started putting my attention that okay, now there's a the probiotic was not passed on from mom to the son, and hence there is a imbalance there. What do I mean by probiotic and what do I mean by microflora? It is basically the live bacteria which are thriving in our gut. Now, we have trillions of such microflora of different species in our gut, in our whole body. Now, these live bacteria can be much, much more than in even our human cells. And we cannot function without their support. It's like that. So, what they do is even we are sharing our DNA with the live bacteria which is there in our gut. Now, you would have heard that I have a sugar tooth. I like to eat more sugar, or I don't eat much, but I start gaining weight. It's all thanks to the live bacteria, the good and the bad bacteria balance in our gut. Now, the gut is having 80% good bacteria, 20% bad bacteria, both are required. This balance leads to a healthy gut. Now, in our children, the good bacteria is slightly lower and the bad bacteria is high. Now, the balance is not there. And hence all the havoc is happening in their digestive system. They are not able to extract the nutrients which we are trying to give, and most of our children are not properly nourished. For that reason, one of the reason is that. And why this understanding of this connection is important, also because most of the internal lining of our gut has the maximum number of immune cells. Now, the immunity also depends on our gut health, right? So many children, they are having so many gut issues like constipation, diarrhea, bloating, gas. All this is leading to no focus, brain fog, and even it actually leads to delay in the speech. Now this is like a very serious matter with that we have to all look at, when it comes to the gut, right? And so imbalanced gut microbiota can affect the mood, the behavior, the cognition, the speech, and a lot of times the meltdowns might be, linked to our gut. Few of our behaviors are linked to the nutritional deficiencies. our children are facing, and which we generally ignore, right? So generally parents would say that my child eats well, he goes, he poops every day, and so everything is looks fine to me. But there is some issue that the child is not able to extract the nutrients, and hence the brain is not functioning to the optimal level. That's what we need to look at, right? So, uh, so key elements involved is that gut microbiome affects the neurotransmitter production, okay, like serotonin. Now, how the gut speaks to the brain? By releasing various hormones, right? It can be serotonin, oxytocin, it's a happiness hormone, dopamine, motivational, and that feel good hormone. These hormones are released in the gut, and they are talking to our brain for various behavior. So all the behavior is actually starting from the gut, right? So that's where we need to look at. And also, uh, our children are having a lot of feeding issues, just like I mentioned about Rana. He could not chew his food properly, and hence there's a limitation to what all things he can eat, what all things I can puree and give him, right? I used to prepare some rice based khichdi kind of a thing, like rice and dal, and I'll just mix it and puree it and give it to him. So the food option becomes limited. He's not able to chew on fruits. He's not able to, like, I need to mash the fruits or need to boil the fruits before I can give him. And most of the nutrition is, by cooking itself, it goes off, and the enzymes are also not reaching him. So these are, the feeding issues. A lot of our children, you would have seen that, though they are not able to eat all the food, they are restricted because they have sensory issues. They don't want to take in many of the textures in their food, the smell, the color, everything is affecting. They see the food, they see the color, the smell, the texture in the hand, texture in the mouth. All these things are affecting our children, leading to nutritional deficiencies. Now, these nutritional deficiencies come out as some kind of behavior. So, many times, while our children were, restricting certain food items, they are not eating, but they are still picking up something like a non-food item and putting in their mouth, which can be so very dangerous, right? And that is seen, and this condition is called pica, where the child is not able to differentiate between food and non-food item. It can be one of the reasons that the child is not able to differentiate. The other reason can be there is a sensory seeking behavior where they want certain hardness, or they want to seek, they want to learn through their mouth, right? And that can be one of the things. And very importantly, it can be because of the nutritional deficiencies. Generally speaking, when I was trying to figure out what is causing my son to chew away his t-shirts, it was zinc deficiency. And once I started supplementing him with zinc, that behavior was gone. Though it was a behavior, it looked very odd that all the time the t-shirt, the collar is inside his mouth and he's just chewing on it. And a lot of children, they start chewing on threads, on the laces. Like they have a lace on their jacket or on the hoodie, they have that lace, they just pull and they start sucking on it. And basically it was just a nutritional deficiency, and here we were with the behavior which we were trying to correct through external therapy, the behavior management. So would it work? Actually, it would not work 100% because there is something underlying which is instigating the child to go on and take up that behavior, right? So, it's so important to understand that our children are having nutritional deficiencies that would be causing them so much of meltdowns and certain behaviors, which are behaviors linked to the nutritional deficiencies. Once that is overcome, there is an improvement in their behavior, their focus, their learning capacity, their concentration, even speech. Because for me, the speech was, a gift of transitioning my child on diet. Yeah. So diet and nutrition is so very important. So while we are trying to help our child externally, what we can do internally to heal him heal the gut at least, and bring about that improvement in his focus, concentration, able to speak, all those challenges, were overcome in my case because of the detox and the diet that I followed. That really helped, right? And how do we, what happens when the gut is not performing? So gut is already having a lot of inflammation. Now, this gut inflammation, if some body part is swollen, supposing my hand is swollen, my right hand is swollen, am I able to write properly? Of course not. Same way, when there is an inflammation in the gut for our children, that gut is not capable of absorbing the nutrition, and hence it leads to nutritional deficiency for our children. Yeah. So why there is a gut inflammation, and it's because there are our children have compromised immune system. They don't have proper gut flora to be able to absorb the nutrients, and the gut is not able to break down the nutrients into the smallest of the micronutrients which should be absorbed. Now the macronutrients are getting absorbed as such without breakdown, and it's causing a havoc. And that's why we need to look at diet which will reduce the inflammation, not add on to the inflammation. Now, this inflammation in the gut actually it keeps on growing, and actually the brain gets inflamed as well. And hence, there is no proper functioning, and we see all the symptoms which we call autism, right? So, because the gut is, inflamed, the detox pathways of our children are also hampered. Now, by detox pathways, what do I mean? The liver and the kidney health. The liver is cleaning the body, uh, you know, endlessly, right? And if that pathway is blocked somewhere, the toxins keep revolving in the body, right? And hence they are causing havoc for our children. And that's where we start looking at nutrition and healing the gut, and then coming to kidney and liver detox. Plus we also take care of the health of the liver, so we start adding certain foods which will help the liver. We will start adding too much of hydration, which can help the kidney, so that many times our children, they don't demand water. So we need to make sure they are properly hydrated, especially summers are setting in, and we need to make sure that they are drinking, because water is something that has a cleaning power. It goes in our body, it start taking all the toxins, and it can just flush it out in form of sweat. A lot of time we have seen, when Ranak was young, he was not even sweating properly. And that's where, you get that alarm, that why is he not sweating? Like, if I'm in a hot condition or heat, I'd start sweating very easily. I'm like sweating all over, but I wouldn't see even a drop of sweat coming out for Ranak, right? He would be very hot, but the sweat is not coming. So that also is affected somewhere, right? So that's why we need to look at the gut health is very important, very crucial. So how do we start supporting this gut-brain axis? We need to understand what foods are causing inflammation in the gut, and what foods are going to ease that inflammation, right? And hence the addition and the subtraction. We will do some addition, we will do some subtraction. So a lot of time I speak to parents, and they would say, no, 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 my child I put him on gluten-free and dairy-free diet. I did not see any change. And hence we went back to, giving him milk, giving him what is gluten and what is casein? Let me talk for a for a minute. Gluten and casein are the proteins found in the wheat and its products, like wheat. Uh, Wheat is there. Then we call something called rava and maize, not maize, maida. That is what is gluten is in all of them. Dairy is milk and its products. Casein is the protein which is found in all kind of milk. It is even found in the mother's milk. So casein is the main protein. 80% of the milk is made of casein protein. Now, these two proteins are not getting digested in our gut. What is happening is they are going to our stomach. The first breakdown happens, and a morphine kind of a structure is it's broken down into a morphine kind of a structure. It happens naturally in all our bodies. But what is happening in the body of our child on the spectrum is the next step that happens in the small intestines, where it has to be further broken down and then absorbed. These with the help of peptidase and the microflora. Now, the microflora is absent. The macronutrient, which is looking like morphine, which is also called glutamorphine or caseinomorphine, that gets absorbed as such. Now, what is the role of morphine? Morphine is, give you brain fog. Morphine is like a painkiller, and our children are not even feeling the pain. So they are not able to tell if there is, they get hurt. Like Ranak used to get his vaccination done and with no cry. And I used to be amazed. My child is so very brave, where I didn't know that, the real culprits were lying in his diet and he's not feeling the pain. It took us some time for him to start feeling pain and, cry when he falls, right? So, and when I was talking about parents who said, okay, we tried this diet and it didn't work, it takes while, because if you were to open the gut and spread it out, it is as big as a tennis court. It is going to take a while to heal each and every cell of our gut. It is going to take years. So we need to be persistent and very, very consistent about the diet that we are looking at. And it's not that we are not going to see the breakthroughs. Once we start seeing the breakthroughs, we'll be more and more motivated to bring in more nutrition and subtract all the inflammation causing food, which can be a gluten, dairy, omega-6. Those fats, we have to look at the oils, which can be causing. Leave all this. We are giving a lot of packaged food to our children, a lot of cakes which have lot of cookies which might be having food coloring. All these are chemicals that we are adding to them. Our children are not able to get rid of these toxins because their detox pathways is not as healthy as we all have. And hence, we need to cut this off, give the chance for the gut to heal itself. And believe you me, I healed my child in a way that I've never used any sleep medication. And he sleeps through the night as of now. He chooses food, which came very early on. His chewing started by 2.5, 3 years only, because we started early on. We got diagnosis quite early, and hence the work started showing the breakthroughs. That's what is my whole intention of bringing Rachna Autism Care to the forum, to help parents take action right now without wasting time, without dealing with the internal conflict. There is a bigger war waiting for all of us to look at and start taking action there and then, and start building. In your mind, just imagine that you are healing their gut and you will be happy to go, right? So then once you remove certain things, we are going to add up more fruits, more vegetables, which becomes like a fiber, which is a food for the good bacteria, which is already present. So we want their population to grow. We are giving them food, and that's food is fiber-based food. We can also look at certain food items which are, rich in probiotics. though yogurt is full of probiotics, but since we are avoiding casein for a while, we are not going to look at the yogurt. We are looking at other food items which are probiotic, like fermented vegetables, like fermented dals, like we do it for making our idli, dosa, and we also ferment the batter to make doklas. All this is a probiotic. Now we are going to bring in this, and you know, we are giving a chance to the gut to heal, and we are going to add the microflora which got missing somehow in the, whatever process they followed in growing up. Then detox protocols is supporting liver and doing a gut detox, which can be because there is a bad bacteria increase, the good bacteria is less, and hence there is a pathogens or parasites increasing in the stomach. So we do some kind of a parasite protocol to bring down the pathogen infestation in their body. That's another step, right? And then healing the gut lining by using some gut friendly supplements like probiotics, zinc, bone broth. Bone broth is, it's like a miracle thing where, it starts making the gut strong enough. Like it's called a leaky gut syndrome for our children, where the cells of the, gut are not packed tightly. So we need that it's become loose and hence it's absorbing the macronutrients. There we need to look at, and bone broth has nothing but from the bone there is something called gelatin, which we will extract by simmering it for a longer period on the we are going to cook it for long, so that that gelatin is comes out of the bone. That gelatin does the miracle of sealing the gut. That's what we are going to learn in understanding the, how we start healing our gut. Now, by doing all these strategies for my son, what was the outcome? What was the breakthrough that I want to tell all the parents that, it might take time, but it happens. And the right decision, right direction, right time. That truly matters for our children, because it's very difficult to transition your child when the child has already grown up and also already started liking things like sugar, like, things like juices or packed food. They've already started liking it. Becomes very difficult to take it away because they've got the taste. They will snatch from other people and eat. The earlier the better. But if the child is even grown, like, like we are treating diabetes, like we are treating any other ailments, like hypertension. So we do look at the diet, right? Like we do want to give up carbohydrates when if we are diabetic, and we do want to give up high sodium diet when we are having hypertension. Same way for autism, we need to give up certain things, certain chemicals. We are not going to have a chemical overload in their gut. The gut is not able to get rid of these toxins, and hence we are going to protect the gut and give a chance for it to heal. So the turning point happened when we changed his diet. I'm talking about my son, and we started the detoxing the environment. We start detoxing the environment, start removing heavy metal like aluminium. As a lot of us in India, we use aluminium kadhais and cooker, and all the cooktops that we are using, which is aluminium based. And aluminium is a heavy metal which goes and stays in their brain and cause brain fog, and it even causes Alzheimer's. So Alzheimer's is actually caused because of the aluminium. So we start detoxing the environment, how those things are entering their body. Once we start looking at that, we are cutting off the toxins that are going in, and we are putting in things which can heal, the food items that can heal the gut. The gut healing leads to the healing of the brain, and we see breakthroughs happening there. So my child has never taken a sleep supplement and has now sleeps through the night, and from the day one he was not sleeping, and we achieved it after many years. It was like very, very, you need to be very persistent, You need to be very consistent with full hope that what I'm doing is correct. I'm going to see this result sooner or later. I cannot take a step and then fall back. Now that is something which we all need to work from within ourselves, because we can bring our child only to that level where we are, where we have come, right? So we need to come a longer way so that they also walk with us, right? So my child's sleep improved. He had more calmness, more concentration, receptive language just went off the, off the charts, because he was understanding everything. His main issue was his, motor skill delays. So his therapist had mentioned that, if you do something with his motor skill, his cognition is pretty good, right? So those were the strengths that we started working upon. So there was a speech breakthrough while we got speech by quarter to four. Um, there was apraxia of speech which was diagnosed. You won't believe it. We graduated from apraxia of speech within 6 months, and I give all the credit to the dietary intervention, nutritional intervention that I was looking at, and it worked well. So, what is apraxia of speech? Most of you might be knowing that the child is not able to articulate certain sounds, certain words. He was not saying the full words. For push, he would say poo. And he's not able to complete the word. For papa, he would just say pa, 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 pa. He doesn't know where to stop. That was what it was looking when the speech came. But we just graduated. And that's the hope, right? We got speech, but it was all broken here and there. But every month on month, every 10 days, we are seeing a breakthrough. We started getting new words, articulation started becoming better. There were certain sounds he was not able to say, he started saying. So those were the turning points, right? And that's what was the real transformation. Even his motor skills started working. I was doing everything like holistically, doing occupational therapy, like, and doing diet, detox, and behavior, ABA, everything, you name it. I was doing holistically. I was trying to put everything in his plate so that he starts thriving, and that's what happened. But the core of it was the diet. Because if you don't heal from within, nothing else is going to work. And even if it works, it will work for a shorter period of time, and you will see the symptoms coming back because the underlying condition was not addressed. Once the underlying condition is addressed, and once you become pro in understanding, okay, this is coming back, this must be some toxins is moving in his body, or he had some diet infraction. Like, you can actually test. You can remove certain sugar for 2 weeks, okay, and then try to bring in sugar. Once you will have, I'm sure you will see a symptom, and that would be a hyperactivity. He starts jumping, he starts running off. That's what happens. And my son, what had happened was he had a biscuit. He had a Oreo biscuit once, and the laughter wouldn't stop. And that's what we see in when we elimination diet. When we start eliminating the diet and we start adding, and we bring it back after 2 weeks or a month, you will see a change, right? And so you need to notice. So it's very, very important for you to start maintaining a diet journal, because with that, whenever we are adding something, we need to know how the body reacted, how the behavior, sleep, the bowel movement, how it looked. And when we eliminated something, how it is looking now. And if there is an improvement, then that is the way to go. And if we added something and the body, is not able to take it, there'll be another behavior. So it's very important to make notes. It's very important to have a diet journal, right? And now I'll just become a little selfish and let you know that I'm part of Rachna Autism Care. It's because all that roadblocks, the obstacles that I faced and overcame, I want to share that with all the parents, and bring hope and bring some ease and some comfort in their life, so that the transitioning on the diet and bringing in nutrition becomes, like a routine, it becomes a easy flow, a smooth pathway I want to create for my parents, for fellow parents. And I knew I wanted to help. I was already helping, but not in a structured way earlier. I was already helping the parents. People would call me and say, therapist would tell parents, please ask Rachna, she's doing something with her son, and we are seeing improvement. So I was helping them in a way where it was not pretty structured, but now I created a structure, and I want to help and give away all those things that I've not only learned but implemented and got the result, right? And what all things you need to be very particular about. When we do a transition, we just don't go cold turkey that today I've decided I'm going to stop everything and the whole plan is going to fall within 2 days, because the child is overwhelmed, the parent is overwhelmed, and that's not the way to go. It's the way to go is make a very small change a day, every day a small change, and in a month you have 25 changes, or if not 25, at least 20 changes you're looking at in a month, without overwhelming the child, without overwhelming yourself as a parent, right? So then I wanted to create a community where people start, helping out each other. And just like Autism Connect, where, you're getting all the knowledge and all the things you need to bring your attention to. Also, Autism Connect is doing a wonderful job to bring in a lot of knowledge and empowerment to us all, parents like me too. And they the same way, I also want to build this community to bring in more and more knowledge and availability of resources for our children, and create programs and app for daily support. That's my mission now. Um, Also, I have certain programs and tools where I have a 14-day foundation program where, we deep dive into each and every aspect that I touched upon today. Um, that's what I wanted to look at. And also, we have a year of mastery program. We have a autism app as well, where we have flashcards, which can be they are custom sizable with the voice recording of the parent itself, and that's what comes with these programs. Also, I've created a recipe ebook where what all things that I did to replace a certain food items also is there. Once you join me and we start sharing all those things, and where you can look, three things that you can start with: remove gluten, remove inflammatory causing food items like gluten, omega-6, which is more high in refined food fats, refined oils, dairy, and start adding something like bone broth, coconut oil, olive oil. These are healing. Once you start understanding the food which are healing, and we just have to make that transformation and work with your child that every minute that you are I'm getting a little question, which is by Bhavini. Do you recommend GF-CFSF diet, supplements like omega-3 and 6 vegetarian? Uh, yes, that's what I had gone for: gluten-free, casein-free, sugar-free, soy-free, corn-free diet, which I actually look at. And yes, supplements like omega-6, omega-3, sorry. Omega-3 is a brain nourisher. Omega-3 has bought in, the regular sleep cycle for my son. Not only that, I have seen his sensory getting taken care of by adding a lot of fruits and vegetables, omega-3 and olive oil. These things really, really made a difference for my son. And that's what I want to tell. Even we were vegetarian, but I actually went ahead and started off with the bone broth as well. We don't have he never accepted any non-vegetarian because we also don't eat. But I tried. He refused to go. And but omega-3, I would suggest. Uh, because I was vegetarian, I had put him on omega-3 from the vegetarian sources, from the flaxseed, walnuts. You get certain omega-3 supplementation from vegetarian source. Believe you me, I have given it for 5 years. It did not work. But what worked was actually fish oil. So what I recommend is go ahead for fish oil, which is very, very much needed. Even fish is treated as like a fruit of the ocean. So just go ahead and bring in omega-3 from the fish sources. It really, really worked for my son. That is what really works actually. So you can, even to know even more, you can join my free webinar as well. And how do you detox? You actually By detoxing, I also meant removing the toxins that are going into their body. It can be the air, it can be water. The toxins are entering our children's body through air. Air can be, what you do is you bring in more of like air purifier. You cannot carry the air purifier everywhere. But whenever the child is at home, we can always purify the air to reduce the dust mites. You can reduce the bacteria, viruses there. And because we need to look at their physical health. So we are not allowing any allergens to attack them, right? And that's what we do for removing. And for detox comes much later when you start looking at removing the parasites from their gut. And first step is the diet, then comes the parasite. You remove the parasites from their body. By parasite means deworming kind of a thing that you look at. And and then you start also, you don't let any toxins from the environment get into their body. How those toxins are going into their body? It can be the non-organic food items, that is the pesticides are getting inside them, and the food coloring and the packaged food which has preservatives. High level of sodium sometimes is there. They use a lot of salt as a preservative, sometimes some acidity regulators. All those numbers, that is not a food. Number is not a food. So first we start detoxing the environment around the child, the environment which we are giving them, right? The air gets polluted, the water is polluted. Water has a lot of chlorine, fluorine, heavy metals. We remove the, Teflon coated frying pans. We don't want to use a non-stick fry pan now. These are the conscious lifestyle, your lifestyle changes that you have to take in to make sure, everything that is getting inside their body, everything that is touching their skin as well. Like, I've never used moisturizers for my son. I use coconut oil. You just got an idea, right? You just add coconut oil to the skin. I don't use talcum powder. Talcum powder might have lead. So you now start becoming aware of, whenever we are using a packaged product, we need to be sure that it is chemical free. It is more, more organic, and less of chemicals. That's what, is a detox thing. Then we start looking at detoxing. Um, See, bone broth, then you can look at a supplementation called glutamine. L-glutamine is something that, it can heal the gut. It really works. You can increase the supplementation of zinc. Why I was saying, then add a lot of salt. You have that rock salt. if you add that rock salt, you start getting micro nutrients, micro minerals, which are needed in a very, very less quantity, but are needed by the body. So you can start adding that. Also, how do you do a detox? The main organ of detox is liver. How do we support the liver? We support the liver by giving our child a salt bath kind of a thing. Like, you can actually make a small tub and fill it with water and have that coarse raw sea salt that you get, that coarse salt that you get. I don't think it's very inexpensive. You can add it there, let the child dip in that salt water for 20 minutes, and you have helped the liver get rid of, you've eased the job of the liver, and the toxins, the salt water is going to absorb the toxins there and then, and you're good to go, right? So these are the things you can look at. If bone broth is a issue, then a lot of vegetarian people also don't look at that, right? So L-glutamine, zinc really works, because my son's diarrhea would never come to control, right? And he was a child who would not do good on probiotics. So what I looked at was prebiotic, which was like a psyllium husk, again, an inexpensive thing, right? So you can look at these things and start healing the gut. Eliminate the inflammatory causing food, and add easily digestible food items like, you know, even vegetable stock is good enough. I have given vegetable stock for a very, very long time for him. You can rotate the vegetables, or you can just keep adding. Pumpkin is very, it's a very easily digestible, very, it has antioxidant in that. Look at the fruits which can help, like watermelon juice is like a detox. It just cleans off your, first thing in the morning, empty stomach, it just cleans it off. It cleans the liver. And it just takes half an hour to 45 minutes for the whole of the juice to pass through our whole gut there. And after 45 minutes, you can ask your child to eat something solid. So these are the things that you can look at to start detoxing your child. Also start, supporting their gut, and you give a chance to their gut to heal, so that their behavior, their focus, their sleep, their digestion, absorption of nutrients, because most of our children are, deficient in vitamin D, vitamin B12, vitamin Bs. And vitamin Bs are really responsible for the speech of the child, right? So hence the role of egg, the role of, bone broth comes in, because lot of vitamin Bs are available there, right? So that's what I want to say, that come join me, my webinar. I have loads and loads of information, loads of those of things to tell my parents to transition their children, make their life easy, not only their life, but child's life. We are all talking about our children's life should become so easy once they are transitioning, right? And you can sign up with me at Rachna Autism Care. And we have another question coming in. Just let me read it. Okay. So if there is no further questions, that's all. I wanted to tell that, I was looking at a very nice promo of, there's an actor here, Anupam Kher, sir, who is coming up with movie, I think. And he mentioned very beautifully that opposite of normal is not abnormal, and opposite of normal is extraordinary. And that's what is our journey, to make our children extraordinary. They already are. Just we need to, tweak their diet, look at what are those, challenges, how we can find out a proper solution and get going, So autism is not a limitation, it's just a unique way of looking at this world, So the more acceptance we bring in our hearts, the more, we make our life as well as their life easier along with us. With the right support, your child is going to thrive. Best of luck for your journey. I hope everybody finds finds that, that comfort, that happiness that I received on this. And if you want to look at the similar results, come join me in Rachna Autism Care. And that's all I can say. Thank you. Bye-bye. Best of luck. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you.